Well, hello, it's been a while, but I'm back and I have some pretty big stuff to talk about concerning DC, WB, and even Marvel, so I hope you stick around for this one. Now, I generally don't go diving into the rumor mill for obvious reasons, but if the latest rumors about Gunn's upcoming Superman film are true, then we are doomed before it even begins, at least in my opinion anyways. You see, instead of Darkseid and his armada wreaking havoc throughout the entire universe, it seems that we are going to get, drum roll please, not one, but two corn sweat Supermen. One good, one evil. The evil one being Ultraman. And who just might Ultraman be, you may be asking? Well, originally he was from Earth 3 in a kind of reversed universe of our own. Britain and America are reversed. Krypton never exploded. Lincoln shot both. And yada yada and so on. He got his powers after being exposed to kryptonite and afterwards setting out to conquer his version of the Earth. He's the leader of the crime syndicate, a sort of supervillain team opposite of the Justice League. Now, in this version that Gunn is rumored to be going in, Ultraman is an evil Superman clone created by none other than Lex Luthor, played by Nicholas Hoult. Now, as I said earlier, this is simply a rumor, so you can take it with a bit of salt, but Gunn has not debunked it as of yet, and he's been pretty quick to debunk everything these days, but is everything associated with what's going on in Gunn's brain? Well, we'll have to wait and see. I myself hope that it's not true. To me, it would just be way too much too soon. I mean, do we really need two corn sweats flying around beating the hell out of each other? Besides, the movie is crammed with way too many damn DC characters as it is, and while I'm on the subject of a crammed DC movie where Superman is battling a cloned Kryptonian, well, doesn't that sound vaguely familiar, kinda, sorta? I mean, Batman vs. Superman ring a bell? You remember that movie. Where WB made Snyder cram too many DC characters in the same movie in order to compete with the MCU? The same movie where Superman dies fighting, a clone Kryptonian. Now, I know people are going to get mad at me on this and accuse me of reaching for the sake of Gunn bashing, but you got to admit it is just a wee bit coincidental and a tad bit annoying if it winds up being true, but hey. You know the great things about so-called scoops and rumors? Well, they can wind up being nothing more than a pile of crap, but it sure is fun to talk about, and even more fun if they wind up being true, even if just a little bit. Now on some DC WB news that is more factual, well, it looks like they have found their director for the Supergirl Woman of Tomorrow film, and I bet they shortened that name too. Now, according to the Hollywood Reporter, Craig Gillespie, whose directing credits include I, Tonya, Disney's Cruella, and the made-for-TV's Pam and Tommy, is in talks to be helming the film. Now, when and where this will all take place, only the mind of little Jimmy Gunn truly knows for sure. So, as previously mentioned with the other film, we got to stay tuned for this one. Now, do y'all remember when WB released that horrible sequel to the Matrix series, Matrix 4 Resurrections? Now, in fairness, it was released around the time of the COVID pandemic, but pandemic or not, it sucked. Sorry, Keanu, don't go all John Wick on me now. Hell, I made myself forget about it, and it wasn't easy, let me tell you. Well, apparently the powers that be at WB in their infinite or non-infinite wisdom have gone and green-lighted, you guessed it, Matrix 5. Now, there won't be any Wachowskis directing it, although Lana Wachowski will serve as executive producer on the film, but Drew Goddard, the director of Cabin in the Woods and Bad Times at the El Royale, will be directing it. Goddard also produced the film The Martian and the Daredevil series and the Alias series, just to name a few, so it could turn out okay. Now, there's no news on the plot as of yet, although it shouldn't be too hard to figure out the gist of it. It is a Matrix movie after all, but there's no news as to who will be in it either, but it will be interesting to see how this film progresses. I'm betting no Keanu or Moss this time, but who knows? Now, WB, it seems, is a busy beaver these days because we also have the first look of the man previously known as Bruce Wayne himself, Christian Bale, as Frankenstein in the upcoming movie The Bride, directed by Maggie Gyllenhaal, who you might remember as Rachel Dawes from The Dark Knight. The bride herself is being played by Jessie Buckley. Now, if you don't know the story, I'm going to give you the abridged version of it. In short, old Frankie is lonely, and so he travels to Chicago seeking out a doctor to bring to life a previously expired female to take as, well, his bride. A love interest, if you will. Now tell me, what could possibly go wrong? Now, as we all know, Bale is one hell of an actor and a master of transformation, so this could turn out to be a pretty damn good movie. I'm actually looking forward to see how it turns out. Now, as I stated in the beginning of the show, I had some pretty big Marvel news to talk about, and this one is a doozy. Now, we all know they are rebooting the Fantastic Four again for the third time. Well, fourth if you want to count this version of it from 1994, but it was never released for obvious reasons, so let's just forget about it, shall we? Well, if you've been following the news on this current rendition, it hasn't been without a few casting controversies, the main one being Pedro Pascal as Reed Richards. Now, there have been talks for quite some time about the Silver Surfer being in the film. And now it seems that Variety has confirmed this. The Surfer will, in fact, be in the film. But this time, the Silver Surfer will be played by Julia Garner? Now, to be fair, there was a female version of the Silver Surfer in Marvel Comics. Briefly. Her name is Shala Ball, and she was the lover of Nora Rod, a.k.a. the original Silver Surfer. Now, I could go into detail as to the hows and the whys that this all came to be, but it would take far too long and make my brain explode. So just suffice it to say that it all fits, kinda, maybe, sorta. Now, I gotta admit, I was expecting, well, the Silver Surfer, the one we all know, you know. He was voiced previously, and perfectly, I might add, by Lawrence Fishburne in 2007's Fantastic Four: Rise of the Silver Surfer. And I gotta admit, it would have been pretty damn cool if he was the voice again, but alas, the Mouse House has other plans, and it's kind of confused some people. It's no secret that Disney/Marvel has been under a lot of scrutiny lately due to what many have perceived as their never-ending quest to create all things woke within their films, products, and TV shows. So I was kind of surprised when this news came out, as many were. But for now, anyways, it is what it is, and we'll just have to wait and see what director Matt Shakman has in store. And who knows, it could be pretty good when you take into consideration that he helmed the Disney hit series WandaVision. So, well, that's all I have for today. If you have any comments or opinions on anything I talked about, feel free to leave them in the section down below. And while you're at it, why don't you hit the like button and subscribe so you don't miss the next show. As always, thanks for stopping by. God bless. See you next time. Socks out.